Hi Minsk, my name is Marijn Carton. I am a graphic designer and I live in Belgium. And my main focus is logo design, branding, social media, video and creative campaigns. These are the services that I provide for clients. Now I want to start off this video with a quote from Dieter Rams. And you all know Dieter Rams as a very well-known industrial and furniture designer from Germany, who has been the head of the Brown design department for many years. And he once said, "Good design is as little design as possible." Now I as a designer couldn't agree more with this statement. For me there's a lot of power in minimalism. If I were to describe my own style as a graphic designer, I would say very clean, very minimalistic, and very functional. And with functional I mean that there's a lot of meaning, a lot of depth in my designs. When you're designing some things, for me, you always have to ask yourself a series of questions. For example, you're designing a logo, then I think with every graphic element that you put into your design, you should ask yourself, is this really adding something? Am I adding something to the design? Or is this really necessary? If you can answer yes to that question, then you should definitely keep it in. But if it's not adding anything, or if it's not saying anything more about the client's business, or adding something to the value of the design, you should leave it out. I don't think a logo, or any design for that matter, needs a lot of detail to be very strong. In this way, by decreasing the number of design elements, you increase the impact of every design element that's still in there. So that for me is very important in the work that I do, and this is an approach that I try to live by within every design I make. And this I think is very important because by decreasing the number of design elements, you increase the significance and the functionality of each design element in there. And this is something I always strive to do within my logo designs. I want to visualize this many things into the design by showing only this much. And if you can accomplish that as a designer, only then I think you have a strong design and a strong logo. Now let's talk very briefly about some design trends that are going on right now in 2017. To start off with, I think that the use of bigger, bolder and brighter colors is a very important aspect. If you look, for example, at the rebranding of the Instagram logo, which caused a lot of fuss and a lot of discussion because people said it was too bold and too childish. But in there you see that the design is very simplistic. They cut away all the details and a very detailed camera icon, and they just kept the bare essentials which visualize the camera itself, and then they used a very big, bold, bright color gradient behind it. And this is a design trend I think in 2017 is going to be seen a lot more. And on the other hand, you have the use of bigger and bolder typography. Now this is very useful because every consumer and every reader has a very short attention span. So imagine yourself reading a book or a magazine and there is this very big bold font on top which visualizes, for example, the page number or the article title. By using a lot of bold fonts and bold typography within your layout and within your design, you keep the design breathable, playable, which helps with the short attention span that your user has. If you have, for example, a page in a book which has a lot of just plain, simple body text without anything else, the user will have a very hard time keeping their attention focused on your text. So when you're using this big bold typography, it helps in creating some kind of, let's say, playfulness, which helps the user retain their attention on your text. Then also minimalism, which I talked about before, is also a very big thing in 2017. A lot more designers and a lot more companies are asking for this minimalistic approach to things, because we live in a society, a modern digital society, where everything is very fast-paced. There's a lot of input from all around us, like text, video, audio, colors. So people are oversaturated by all of these signals and all of this input, and they really want something very simple. They want something clear that they can look up to. They see something, and in about 1 or 2 seconds they immediately know this is what it's about. This is the subject of it, and this is what I have to do. So minimalism is something that's returning a lot in 2017, but instead of using only black and gray color palettes, you will see that minimalism will have a lot of colors added to them. So the design in itself will remain very minimalistic, but there will be a lot of color added to the design. And the last design trend of 2017, which I like to explain, is the creative use of a grid system. So for those of you who don't know, every designer uses a certain grid system, which is a combination of vertical and horizontal lines to base himself on while placing design elements like text or images into a layout or a design. And it used to be so that the design or the layout was very straightforward. Like for example, you have your header text over here, your body text over there, and an image over here. But now designers are getting more and more creative with this grid system and creating very abstract, very chaotic and unstructured looking layouts. Like for example, bold text with an image behind it, text running over the images, other graphic design elements not being centered very well but being off-centered. So they're experimenting a little bit with this thin line between readability and structure, but on the other hand being very abstract. So this is another trend that you see a lot in 2017. And in the end, I'd like to leave you with a final quote. I couldn't remember who the quote is from, but I heard it at a lecture, a design lecture a few years ago. And this is a quote that I live by up until this day. And it is, "If you're not scared shitless, you're not taking enough risk." Thank you.